Well, this spring, the Michigan Supreme Court will hear arguments in a case that's making headlines across the country. The American Civil Liberties Union accuses Michigan of not doing enough to make sure poor people are treated fairly when they're accused of a crime.
In fact, critics say what's going on in Michigan courtrooms is a constitutional crisis that in some cases is putting innocent people behind bars and leaving others there much longer than they should be. WSBT's Dustin Grove has more on allegations of justice denied.
People versus Fairchild Casara.
It's a weekday afternoon in Berrien County Criminal Court. For dozens of men and women who've been accused of a crime, this is the first time they'll appear before the judge to hear the charges against them.
You're charged with domestic violence.
Like most people in trouble with the law, they cannot afford a lawyer, so one will be appointed to them. And for these people, the American Civil Liberties Union says in Michigan, the deck is already stacked against them.
Whatever the prosecution wants goes.
The ACLU says Michigan's public defender system is one of the worst in the country. They say there's no state oversight. Instead, it's left up to each county to provide funding. In far too many cases, they say public defenders are strapped with an overwhelming number of clients, and sometimes they have a budget as much as 4 times smaller than the prosecutors.
They don't have the supervision, their caseloads are too high, they don't have the expert witness resources.
Critics say a team of investigators found some public defenders meeting their clients for the very first time in court and rarely doing any investigating. In a statement last year, the ACLU said when public defenders don't have the necessary resources, their clients are wrongfully convicted, plead guilty when they shouldn't, and spend too much time in jail or prison. So the ACLU, along with a team of others, filed a class action lawsuit.
We are alleging that plaintiffs have been deprived of their constitutional rights.
Take Eddie Joe Lloyd, for example, released in 2002 from a Michigan prison after DNA testing confirmed he was innocent. His court-appointed attorney never presented a defense. Lloyd spent 17 years behind bars. Between 2003 and 2007, the ACLU says Michigan's Appellate Defender Office found sentencing mistakes in 1/3 of guilty plea appeals assigned to their office. So the lawsuit asked the state to step in and fix the problem, to make sure each county provides the funding, policies, and oversight so every defendant gets justice. The Michigan Attorney General's office had asked the High Court to throw out the case. A spokesperson told me his office couldn't comment and referred us to the governor's office, where we're waiting to hear back. In fact, getting many people to talk at all about this case hasn't been easy. The corporate attorney for Berrien County did tell our partners at the South Bend Tribune late last year regarding this situation. His county's public defenders are experienced, some of them even former prosecutors, and added he'd stack them up against anyone in the state. And a concern for some is how much it would cost the state of Michigan to oversee and then fund public defender system in Michigan at a time when it's facing a massive budget shortfall. The case goes before the Michigan Supreme Court in April. Dustin Grove, WSBT News.